Welcome to another episode of Ikezi Talks Sport. And I have with me here my co-host as usual, Soxin, a bloody Manchester United fan.
I'm feeling good right now.
Are you really feeling good? People have been coming for him on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, bro. They say your opinion stinks.
That's because Arsenal fans are very emotional. Very, very emotional.
See, let me tell you something. Arsenal fans, you don't want to get on the nerve of Arsenal fans.
Well, that's what I want to do. Now that I know. I mean, I've always known, but it's easier now. Trigger multiple people at once.
I said something. I said, the next time when we post out this content, I'm going to put your handle there so they can literally look for you and they will find you.
More power to their elbows. I love it. I love it.
But yeah, the last episode was such a success. It's been going crazy on social media, TikTok, Facebook.
We love it.
One of the clips that we posted actually, under 24 hours, we gained over 1,000 followers. Shout out to you guys. You guys are, you're giving us the energy. You're giving us the ginger to continue this. And that same post, that same clip has also blown up on TikTok over, as at the point of this recording, I think over 25,000 views. One on Facebook over 50,000 views. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing. So yes, let's just get straight into the agenda for today, right? Drum roll. Amorim has been fired. I know you're happy as a Manchester United fan. Me, I'm not happy because I wanted him to stay.
I have a 15-second clip I want to play. Can I play it?
Play it.
Mo dúpẹ́ oníbùwọ̀rẹ́. Okay.
You guys are ingrates. After all the work that Amorim has done for you.
What work?
After all the work that Amorim has done for you.
What work?
What do you mean what work?
I'm listening now.
Honestly, I think that at the point where he got fired, I mean, I think I've read a lot online. I've watched a lot of videos, exposes on what happened, the Athletic and stuff like that. I think it was a case of he being fed up and just asking to leave, right? Or maybe it was a case of him being sacked. But I think that at the point where he was sacked, and I made this argument in the last episode, I think things were starting to make sense. Things were starting to take shape, right?
No. Nothing was taking shape.
I will tell you this for free. It's because you're a Manchester United fan. You are in it. It's difficult for you to see the positives. Wait,
this
now.
About to piss
I'm
me
looking
off.
at it from the outside, and I can tell you, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm telling you that I could see that the tides were starting to change. See, all you guys did was to stick to him for a couple more months.
No. No.
Okay. Just watch how everything is going to unfold. You guys are going to regress yet again. It's like you've hit the reset button.
So here's the thing. The fact that you make a wrong choice and you are scared to make another wrong choice is not why you should stick to the wrong choice you made. And let me say something right now. And I want my United fans to know this. Sacking Amorim is not progress. It's the correction of a mistake. Progress will be decided by what we do going forward. And you are right. It's very possible that we make another mistake, sign another wrong coach. But, well, it's better to sign another coach and do your due diligence and hope that everything works out well than to stick to a coach that was obviously the wrong choice.
That's where you
by
and I would always
every
disagree.
logic imaginable.
I don't think
Amorim was the wrong choice.
I don't think
the
Amorim
performances were bad. The results were bad. The management was bad. There is no argument for him. And one thing that I hate about this whole process, how the sacking unfolded, is that it should have been sacked a long time ago. And I don't like the fact that he was sacked because he essentially became petulant towards his bosses. He should have been sacked for footballing reasons. And that sort of puts a spotlight on Ineos, because that tells me that even Ineos don't exactly know what they're doing. And when you read the stories, Omar Berrada signed him, Sir Jim wanted him to play back four. He was having issues with Jason Wilcox. Jason Wilcox wanted him to play a back four. It is like even Ineos within themselves, they seem divided. And that is scary, because when you think about it, they've made some major decisions and they've been getting it wrong. One, Tenure was supposed to be sacked. Everybody thought he was going to be sacked. And then he won that Fugazi FA Cup. And then they gave him a new deal and sacked him a few months into the season. That was a wrong decision. There was the Amorim decision too. That was another wrong decision. So it's like they are getting major decisions wrong. And it's worrying. Think about this guy that we signed from Newcastle, Dan Ashworth. I don't remember if he was supposed to be our technical director or footballing director or whatever. We literally had to wait months to sign him from Newcastle, only for him to get sacked or maybe left or whatever months later. That does not make any sense. So that's like major decisions that they are getting wrong. So that already makes me think that even Ineos don't really know what they are doing. And the fact that they would sack Amorim because he basically went after them in the media, I don't like it, because it represents a power play. I'm not interested in power play. I just want you to make the right decisions and get this football club back on track.
You said quite a lot, and you've presented in such a way that if I wasn't really clear on my opinions and what I think is happening behind the scenes, if I wasn't as informed as I should be, I would have been swayed by your very eloquent speech. Look at you. You're almost beaming for joy. You are so happy. You don't even know what is happening. See, let me tell you something, right? I hear you. Mm. But I still believe that yes, the board, it looks like they are inept
Yeah.
in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you appointed a manager that came into the club at a time when a lot of things were wrong. The structure was wrong. The players, the recruitment was bad. He didn't come into an healthy environment, right? And he's a young coach. I think people expecting him to immediately replicate the success that he had, maybe certain Manchester United fans, expecting him to replicate the success that he had as Sporting Lisbon, it was always going to be unrealistic. And yes, you had that spell or that terrible season last season where you ended up 15th. I wasn't surprised. I felt like
This
it was
season is
expected.
still terrible.
No, it's
Just so
not
you know.
terrible. You see, it's not terrible. This man still won Manager of the Month. Was it in December or November?
How many back-to-back games have we won this season? We are 19 games into the season, or 20.
No. So here's the thing: when you are in a process, you have to understand that you are in a process. Rome was not built in a day, and I don't think that the board alone, share the blame. I think I'm going to make a very controversial statement right now.
Man U fans, get ready to drag him.
I think Manchester United players, in a majority of them, are spoiled. And here's what I mean. See, when you keep bringing in manager after manager after manager after manager, and it's not working, then something should tell you that maybe it's actually not even the manager. You have to look at yourselves in the mirror. I read something online, right? I read something online about the players being confused about the tactics that he's deploying. I had something about him having a fight or an argument with Lisandro Martinez.
Yeah.
So Garnacho, before he left, he wasn't shit. He
It
went to
was.
Chelsea. No, he wasn't. Garnacho was. I saw Garnacho play
Bro,
for Manchester
trust
United.
me.
Garnacho has always been an average player. He
Below
went to
average.
Chelsea. Exactly.
He's
So
still below.
you are
Garnacho is not
making
doing anything in Chelsea that I
you are
wasn't doing at
you are
Manchester
making
United.
my point for me, because Garnacho was average. He went to Chelsea. He's still average. Amorim was right to phase him out. As when he got sacked, Garnacho liked the post from Fabrizio Romano about him getting sacked. So what I'm trying to say, it speaks to the attitude and the character of Manchester United players. Just like your legends, there is something wrong
Okay, so
right?
let me
Wait,
tell you why.
let me finish.
Okay.
So now, and here's why. I think because I saw something on, I mean, the Athletic piece, I read it, and every time, I think what's his name, Wilcox, Jason Wilcox, he wanted to work with Amorim to overturn the results, and Amorim said something to him. He said, these current players, they need to go. They need to go. Now, I understand the reason why he lashed out in that press conference, right? Because it's almost like the board made it clear that there was no activity happening in January. There was no activity happening in January. He wanted players. He needs those players to get the results that he wants, because he knows that the current couple of players are not the players for what he wants to play, and they are terrible to manage, right? It's normal. The rebuttal of the board was that the players that he faced out, Sancho, Anthony, Rashford, Garnacho, cost the club a lot of money. But you cannot blame Amorim for that, because those were not his signings. That is on the board. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I think it was a case of, yes, he was promised something, and then he came, and then things became different, and he had to work with what was on ground. He tried his best. In my
So this
opinion,
is the
he
problem.
was trying his best. He got sacked.
Okay. This is the issue. He did not work with what he had.
He worked with what he had.
Working with what you have is getting the best out of them. And if you were really working with what you had, you would have to play a
I'm going
tactical
to
system.
disagree with you on that.
No, you have to play a tactical system that fits what you have. Think about it. You just made it clear yourself.
What he has
Hold on, you made
bad players.
No, I see. That's what I don't agree with.
So not in terms of quality, no. On paper, I'm talking about the likes of Luke Shaw, Casemiro.
Okay, so this
but in
argument,
terms of
you know
their
what?
attitude, in terms of their character, there's something wrong. There's something off.
Let's address that.
Yes.
A lot of times, people would say that, oh yeah, these players are this, these players are that. I heard that during Mourinho's time.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it during Ole's time.
About the players.
Yes, I heard it during Ten Hag's time.
Okay.
I'm hearing it during Amorim's time.
Okay.
Do you know what the issue is? That argument is a lazy argument. You know why it's a lazy argument?
No, it's not a lazy argument.
It's a blanket argument.
It's not a lazy argument.
I will explain why.
And I'll use Arsenal. When you finish, I'll use Arsenal as a reference.
Okay. During Ole's time, we had Wan-Bissaka starting as right back. He has left the club.
Okay.
Maguire is the only centre back from that time still actively in the club.
Okay.
The midfield, McTominay gone, Fred gone, Bruno still there, is our best player, and everybody knows that he gives his heart and soul every single time. The entire attack has been changed. Majority of the players that were there under Mourinho, some of them left under Ole, and then more people left under Ten Hag. If you look at the squads back then, compared to the squad now, it is radically different. So it is very, very easy to make an argument that the squads have changed or has changed. So I don't understand the argument of,
you don't think old players influence new players?
To begin with, how many old players are there? Let's even start from there. The only old players that are there really is Luke Shaw, who is almost never fit anyway. There's Maguire, and there's Bruno Fernandes. Who else? Everybody has gone. So my point is that I cannot accept an excuse about the players being petulant or the players being crybabies against the manager. Look, if you cannot get your dressing room in order, it's on you as the manager. And the players did not actually even turn on Amorim. They did not.
But
a lot of those guys.
Reports is suggesting that they were starting to turn on Amorim.
See, that's why I think.
And I always refer to that Mourinho quote. That's football heritage about Manchester United players. Look at where they play, if they play, how they play. I know that recently some of the gems that you guys have had, that you guys have faced out, the likes of Scott McTominay and co, they are doing well. So something that tells you that collectively as a group together, there seems to be something that is off with the players together as a group?
I
You don't think so?
think that, you know what? I don't want to dig too deep into that because I feel like I want to focus on Amorim as a manager.
Can you drop your mic a little bit so it shows your face well? No, like bring it down like this.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then raise it up. Awesome, yeah.
I think Amorim is a bad manager.
Hmm.
We
That's a
played
strong word.
63 or 64 games under Amorim. We had a 38% win rate. That's about, I don't know the math right now, but 38% win rate. That is extremely low for a Manchester United manager. Amorim's biggest achievement as a Manchester United manager is winning back-to-back games once in 14 months. Just once. Do you realize, you know what? You've been talking a lot about the table. That, okay, the table says we are sixth, table says we are sixth. What if I told you that the current bottom six in the Premier League, we played all of them and we did not beat them? We failed to beat Wolves, we failed to beat Leeds, we failed to beat Bournemouth, all of them.
So I mean,
The bottom six,
when
those are the worst teams in the league.
so here's the thing. When you make arguments like that, I get it. So football is a result based sport, right? But oftentimes, like I said, you guys are in a process. See, I'll tell you for free.
That process was not going
It's
anywhere.
and it's going to see, unless you accept that it's going to be a very long process. I'll when this video is on, I'll put up a graphic of when Arteta went on one devilish losing run. He didn't get sacked. He could have gotten sacked. The fans were calling for a sack.
Tell us what position Arteta finished.
That's why so you are still making the same mistake. You're looking at it as result based, right?
Okay,
But it is a
let's
process.
ignore the
It
results.
is a process.
Let's talk about the performances.
So
Let's ignore the results. Let's talk about the performances.
like I said, I've been watching it from an external point of view, right? And at first, it didn't look like I didn't really understand what he was trying to do, but it was clear that he didn't have the right players to implement. But then, like I said in the last pod, he was building the squad from the front to the back, right?
You know what? I should have disagreed with that in the last pod, and it skipped my mind.
Fernandez
Amorim
being played out of
or
position,
Ineos,
Casemiro being old and not being able to cover ground, Ugarte not being as technical as he should be. Those are not Amorim signing.
So,
midfield is the heart of a team.
let me present an
It was not
argument to you.
giving midfield players.
Okay.
You need to put that into consideration.
Okay.
Because the midfield is what is going to make the attack tick. Is what is going to make the defense also tick.
Let me present an argument to you. When Amorim was hired, he was hired as the head coach.
There's something off about that. So because I
don't
that
know
press
what
conference
they promised him,
exactly,
but
I believe he was
job
promised something
description-
else.
His job description was the head coach. When you look at the club statement when he was hired, the club statement read head coach. When you look at the club statement when he was fired, it read head coach.
But he wanted to be the manager.
That's one thing. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'll circle back to the argument, but keep that in mind. When you are a manager with zero credit in the bank, you don't get to play victim and say, oh, they did not sign me this guy. They did not sign me this guy. They did not sign me this guy. Help me, help you. Amorim finished 15th. You know what that did? It cost us a ton of Premier League prize money. One, hold on. Then he lost the Europa League final. Winning the Europa League final by itself would have given us a lot of money. That's one. That winning that trophy would have gotten us into the Champions League. Another money. So that's 3 separate income that Amorim essentially cost us with his insistence on a formula that wasn't working.
I mean, it's easy to
So
blame. It's
now,
easy to blame it on
when
Amorim
you
now. I don't think
your
he's
team
no.
that hold on, when you cost your team that much, and as a manager, you don't have any real credit in the bank. And the board still spent 250 million in the summer. What are you complaining about? Like, look, I'm not here to defend Ineos. Like I said at the beginning of this pod, I think they don't seem to know what they are doing either. But you cannot play the victim. You cannot argue that they did not support you enough. This is January.
So
we were just a few days into January and they went on a rant about how the technical director needs to do his job.
Yes.
You have not. Let me tell you something. Do your job before you tell somebody else to do their job.
Let's talk about that rant.
Okay.
So I get your argument about him not having any credit to the bank, and stuff like that. But I feel like you're missing my point entirely, because he came into a situation that was almost in disarray. If Ten Hag had stayed to the end of the season, I don't think there would have been any difference. The data and the form suggested that you guys were nose diving. It was poor performances.
Was not going to finish 15th
over poor performances. Now, Ineos, they knew the risk. You're bringing in a guy from the Portuguese league that plays a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 formation. You knew that there was going to be a period where you guys were going to suffer. That was a reality that you cannot tell me the Ineos did not expect.
No, I'm on board with that. I'm on board
finishing
with that
15th,
completely.
maybe it wasn't, they didn't think it was going to be that bad, right? But they knew the risk. You cannot absolve them of that. Now, yes, the Europa final was a fest. Literally two of the worst Premier League teams in the last season played in the Europa final. It was uninspiring. The game could have gone either way. Tottenham stank up the place. Man United played much better than Tottenham.
No, we did not. Look, let me tell you something.
That game. Wait,
we did not play much better than Tottenham. Game. I did too, and I'm telling you that the game. That final could have gone off.
That's not even the focus. That is not the focus of this. The focus is, yes, you guys lost the money, but then again, Ineos understood the risk. Now, he was given 250 million in the summer. He bought the players. He bought Mbromo, he bought Cunha, he bought Shesko. Things have not been as bad as... You guys have the same points with Chelsea. You guys are 3 points off Liverpool. You are 6th or so, if I'm correct. Let me finish.
Okay.
So yes, things are not looking great. I don't know where you expect Manchester United to be. Maybe you expect them to be 3rd, or you expect them to miraculously be better than Liverpool, or you expect that they will be miraculously better than Chelsea that just won the Club World Cup. Your expectations about Pion are not well managed. You guys are well placed. Newcastle is not above you. Crystal Palace is not above you. Brentford is not above you. Sunderland is not above you.
They will finish above us. Again, like I said,
you don't know that now.
Like I've been telling you, the league table is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant.
At the moment, it is not all doom and gloom. You guys drew your last 2 games. Chelsea drew their last 2 games. Guess what? Mancity drew their last 2 games. Guess what? Liverpool also drew their last 2 games.
Okay.
Now, so if that's the reason why, that's why I don't think it was actually performance related that he was sacked, right?
Which is one of the things that made him suck.
He made certain revelations in that press conference that I interpreted to mean, you know what? When I was offered the job as Manchester United, to Manchester United, I made it clear that I wanted to be the manager. I want to have control of certain things. I'm bringing in my formation. I'm bringing in my ideas. I want to be able to pick and say, oh, this profile of player. It helps the manager. Arteta was brought into Arsenal as an head coach. Within a couple of months, he was promoted to manager because it was clear that he needed control. He needed that level of influence. Now,
so would you trust a guy that doesn't give anything to work with?
So you are saying give anything to work with, because you are still taking me back to my initial point that the players that he met were not good enough for him to get meaningful results in the first place. And you're also taking...
Since we want to talk about players not being good enough,
he just came into
Let me ask you a question. We finished 15th.
Yeah.
So the players are not good enough. Okay, we agree. The guys that finished 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, do they have better players than us? Do they?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so what's going on?
See, Soxin, football, you don't treat players like they are robots. You don't treat players that like they are robots. I'm telling you. It's just like when you're playing FIFA. Let me make you these
Since you love the
arguments
league
for
table
you.
so much, are you aware that we were 4 points off top 4 when he got the job? Are you aware of
That
that?
doesn't matter.
What are you talking about?
That
It doesn't matter. You
doesn't
just literally
matter.
used the same league table as an
I
argument 10 seconds
am
ago.
telling you that when he came into Manchester United, there were risks involved that you guys well and understood.
Yes, and the risk did
You
not pay
guys, your
off. Hence, he
performances
should
were
have been
bad.
fired, and he was duly fired.
Oh no. See, I maybe I am looking at this from the lens of, because I'm an Arsenal fan, right? If something in makes sense to me from an Arsenal point of view, I would almost, take cues from that, make reference to that, and then try to explain, my point of view, right? When Arteta came into the club, it wasn't all bad, but then we finished 8th, right? He couldn't exactly help us in that instance. What really helped him was, he won an FA Cup, which was good. We had players like Aubameyang and co that really helped in that. But since then, he's not been able to even win, a title. But you can tell that we are making progress in terms of the stature, where we play, how we play. The players that he met, if you remember, he had to freeze out that same Aubameyang. The players that he met, he had to gradually phase each and every one of them out. Aside from Martinelli, Saka, and I'm missing another player. If not just those two, I think Xhaka was the only person that lasted long before he eventually got sold. Right? He had to phase them out because Aubameyang on paper, good player. Lacazette on paper, fantastic player. Ozil on paper, fantastic player. He froze him out. We had Ramsey. We had I'm not sure if we had a couple of players that he had to phase
You
out.
know what my problem
Soxin.
with your
So
argument is?
that's the thing. I believe that, number one, he didn't get that promotion that he really wanted to be manager. He remained as a head coach, and when you're a head coach, your assignment is simple. We give you the materials, you work with them. If you don't get the result, you're out. That is not the best case for someone in a club like Manchester United.
First of
No.
all, understand that in modern football, most people get the job of an head coach, not a manager. Most people.
In a
That's
big
one.
club like Manchester United.
Yes.
No.
But let's get that out of. Hold on. You know the biggest issue I have with your argument right now is the fact that you are making it sound like we have poor players. See, Arsenal squad at the time. How much was the squad worth? How much was invested in that squad? The squad at Arteta met. How much was invested in it?
Money.
No, after the fact, yes. At the point, at that time, how much? Okay.
Oh, you mean that the players that he met?
When the Arteta
met Pepe that was bought for 72 million pounds. He met Aubameyang that was bought for 60 something million. Lacazette was bought for 50 something million.
Keep going.
These were huge sums of money at that time.
Do you want me to do the math?
Ozil was bought for 40 something million at that time. Now you have to see, Arsenal were not known to be big spenders, but those players cost a lot of money.
I'm telling you that whatever amount you think those players cost, if I do the math for United squad, is going to be ridiculously
that
different.
Is not on Amorim. That's on the board.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is that the squad that Arteta met and the squad that Amorim met are two different squads. Amorim's squad was better or is better than what Arteta met. That's just the truth. You guys had Pablo Mari, you guys had Lichtsteiner, whatever that guy's name is, David Luiz, Willian, all those guys.
Arteta brought in all those players himself.
Okay, but my point is that there was a lot of dead rubber in that squad. And there's dead rubber in United squad, don't get me wrong. But I'm telling you that Amorim's squad is much better and Amorim is doing less.
He's out now.
Okay, yes, he was doing less.
I mean, smile. You should be happy.
I am happy, but you are pissing me off with this argument. So now I have to pick on a very serious piece.
Pissing you off?
A very serious piece.
You know what?
So, see, Amorim has the squad is good. It's not a world-beating squad. No Manchester United fan has said Amorim go and win the title. Nobody said even make top 4. Everybody's just saying the same thing. Get to Europe. Conference League, Europa League, just get to Europe. That's how low the bar is. Do you realize that you were telling me about, Mancity have drawn to their back-to-back games. Well, guess what? Man City are actually in the title race. Liverpool have been bad. They've been bad. They've been terrible. They are number 4.
No, I was just making reference to the fact that I don't think it was a performance-based sacking at the time.
And
I think
it's
it was just
not. And
comments
it's the fact
and
that it's
things
not
that
a
happened behind the
performance-based.
scenes.
That's why I hate the fact that it's not a performance-based sacking. That's why I have issues with Ineos.
No,
It should be
I don't
sacked
have
based on performance.
No, it shouldn't. We can agree to disagree on that, but that's
Do
fine.
you realize that? We play once a week?
Yes.
All these things that you were mentioning, they play twice a week.
Yes.
Okay, what does that tell you? It's like,
but you guys, you play once a week. Okay, I want to ask you a question, right? Just quick question, right? You play once a week. Where do you realistically think that you should be right now, aside from where you are on the table?
I think right now, realistically, if we had a good manager, we'll be top 4. Let me tell you why.
Top 4. I want you to state specifically where.
Like fourth.
So guess what? You are only 3 points off fourth.
Again, I'm telling you.
You are 3 points off fourth. That's the reality.
Okay, hold on. Okay, since that's
season.
the game we want to play, let me give you this. Right now, Chelsea is 5th. Okay, Liverpool is 4th, 34 points.
Mm-hmm.
Manchester United is 6th, 31 points. 3 points off top. Top 4, right? Okay, cool. How about the fact that Man United has 31 points and the guys in 14th, Crystal Palace, they have 27 points. So we're also 4 points off 14th. How about that?
That doesn't matter. We're looking at where you are relative to the 4th position.
Because what it tells you is that the league table right now has no bearing on anything.
But those guys that are down below you, they are also going to lose games now.
So we are the ones that will not lose games.
I'm telling you that your performances were not as bad as
in our last pod, and we're having an argument, I told you that I was very, very sure that we will not beat Leeds. Remind the audience what you said.
I thought you were going to beat them.
So
and it happens. You guys drew. Yes, you're a Manchester United fan. Of course, you predict the games better than I do. But I'm telling you that it wasn't all doom and gloom because guess what? You weren't the only ones that drew that game week. Games that they should have won.
I don't like this argument.
The Premier League is tough. Listen. See, I don't like it when people make arguments and then you throw context out of the window. You have to always consider.
The context is Manchester United. I don't care about what other teams are doing.
Anyways, Amorim is out. You're happy about that? I think that's the most important thing.
Yes, he should have been arrested. It's not enough that he was sacked. He should have been arrested.
Whatever. He should have been arrested.
Think about it now. The performances were objectively
so it was
bad.
Criminal what he was doing.
Yes, the performances were bad. The results were bad, and Amorim could not manage properly.
I disagree.
Give me one Manchester United player.
Okay, yeah, the managing
his
part.
Game under Amorim.
So here's what I'm also going to say to that. Like I hate to play. It almost looks like I'm trying to counter everything that you say, but I just have
I don't understand.
But
why.
I just have a different opinion because I've watched the game long enough to know that we never have all the information, right? A lot happens behind the scenes that we will never be privy to, right?
Well,
so always take that to let me see. I did a course. It's called econometrics, right? When you are trying to find, what is causing, an effect on, for example, something is directly related to something. This is causing this, and then you're plotting the graph. There are oftentimes other data points that are not accounted for, right? That you will not you cannot place a hand on them, but they are within the data set. We don't know, and those things oftentimes they tend to derail what the actual prediction or what the actual result is or should be. Those elements we have to always take account for them. There's a way to take account for them within the econometrics syllabus. But that's what I'm trying to say.
Since we are in the mood to be academic and to talk about data sets, do you realize that when you have a bunch of data, a bunch of points, and you want to plot a graph, and everything is around the same range, do you know what you do?
Find the best.
What do they call it? The line of best fit.
Yes.
Is 3-4-3 United's line of best fit?
See, 3-4-3.
I rest my case.
No. You can't rest your case.
We are talking about graphs, right?
Cannot
so let's talk about line of best fit.
You cannot rest your case. You cannot rest your case. You cannot rest your case. Yes, I agree that Amorim was very stubborn with the formation But you can't blame him. That this particular issue with the formation, I think the fault Ineos should take in majority of the fault, or he should take, enough of the fault as well, because they knew, like I said, they knew the risks. They knew the risk. He probably made it clear. He probably stated it that it was going to pay a 3-4-3, right? If you felt like you're going to have a problem with that, you should have said so. You should have not appointed him in the first place, because I know him. For someone to be that stubborn, he probably might have made it extremely clear that it is 3-4-3
And guess
or
what?
nothing.
Even what you are saying is the reason why.
So according to Amorim, his line of best
give me
is
a
3-4-3.
top manager that is wedded to a formation or a system. Give me one. Not Pep. The Arteta that you seem to love so much is not wedded to a system.
That's not the
Ferguson
issue,
was never wedded to a system.
When you have an idea,
Ancelotti is not wedded to a system.
When you have an idea, you often tend to stick to it, especially when the pressure is high. You believe so much in yourself. Now he died with that idea. I know Mourinho shares a different opinion to what I just said.
Even Mourinho was not wedded to a system.
And that's what I said. I said Mourinho shares a different opinion.
So like when you think about it, there is no manager that has succeeded that was, I'm living by this system, I'm dying by this system. None. Pep has won at Mancity with a false 9. He has won with an actual number 9. Ferguson won Premier League title with 4-4-2.
Anyways,
he won with 4-3-3.
You have a point there.
Yes.
You actually have a point there, but I'm going to make this excuse for him.
God.
He's a young manager. He's
so
learning.
Arteta is not.
You guys understood the risk.
Come on, Arteta is a young manager. Julian Nagelsmann is a young manager.
Ineos
they are not wedded to a system.
Ineos has to come out and they have to raise their hands and say, you know what, we got this wrong, and you should put the blame on us. They should not be hiding behind the scenes on this one, in my opinion.
Let me tell you, genuinely.
Because honestly, if they hadn't sacked him, I thought that, in my opinion, Amorim was getting there.
I don't think he was getting anywhere. I genuinely don't think.
I don't want us to overbeat the topic like the last time.
Let's
move on to the next one. So, David also said that it might be an explosive. I'm trying to remember his exact words. An explosion of managers or something for Manchester United in the summer, because guess what? A lot of managers are going to be available. He's talking about
World Cup also.
Iraola being in his last year of contract, Oliver Glasner being in his last year of contract, Marco Silva being in his last year of contract. People like Nagelsmann, Tuchel after the World Cup, Ancelotti after the World Cup. Like, there is
even Bild reported today that Enrique does not want to extend his contract. In my opinion,
no.
Is the easiest option.
Enrique to Manchester United is
Why?
not going to be there.
Why?
Nobody downgrades like that. Let's just keep down that. If it happens, I owe you $500. Take it from me. Okay. Enrique to Manchester United. Forget about it. That's not happening. I'll with my chest. I say with my full chest. You leave PSG and go to Manchester United. Come on now.
Why not?
You guys are supposed to be going for the likes of Unai Emery and co. No, Enrique, you have to give him something to work with.
Let me tell you something.
Not with these nonsense that Ineos and the board are doing. Right. But I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
Who is your preferred manager? I know this guy. Let me just quickly say this. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to sneak his way in.
No, I don't think he's going to be the manager.
He's banging the door.
No.
I
don't think he's going to be the manager.
We know what he wants to do. So if he comes in, he goes on a good run of form, and he'll be like, let him just take the job. So, that's what he wants to do. But who is your preferred choice?
To be honest with you, I've not had enough time to really settle down on a preferred choice. But what I will say is this. If everybody that we have mentioned is available, my preferred choice is Luis Enrique. Now, you have said that I'm building castles in the air and I have pipe dreams. Fair enough.
It's okay to dream. There's nothing bad.
If your question is my preference, and I'm hearing that Luis Enrique might be available in the summer.
Realistically, please. Realistically.
Still get why you are saying this is not real. Let me tell you something.
You think Manchester United has that
managed
You guys, you
Barcelona.
look at the managers
Okay,
you've had in the
think
last
about.
couple
Let's
of
analyze
years.
this thing. Let's
You're
analyze this
pulling
thing.
Ten Hag, you're pulling Amorim,
Okay,
and then all
hold
of a
on.
sudden you pull
Let's
Luis
analyze this thing.
Enrique.
Let's analyze
Luis
it.
Enrique would rather go to Man City. You know, Pep might leave.
And City are supposedly going for Enzo Maresca.
No,
Yes.
that hasn't been that.
Yeah,
that
but
hasn't
like
been.
it's like
That
what
is not
we
cast in
have.
stone. They are only still cutting him.
Okay, let me give you a scenario where it's realistic.
City would go for Enrique before they go for Maresca. I hope you know that.
Okay,
Because Enrique has the
maybe,
pedigree.
but hear me out. Luis
You should be going
Enrique
for
already
Maresca.
managed Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
He's most likely is not going to Real Madrid. That eliminates Madrid and Barcelona, right? Right now, Chelsea have a new coach, so they're not in the job. They are not in the hunt for a coach.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we know, Pep is still Man City's manager.
Mm-hmm.
So pencil him there. And a slot is still Liverpool's manager. So pencil him there.
That might change after the Arsenal game.
Okay, well, it's definitely Tottenham is kind of out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is that if you remove Barcelona and Real Madrid, and obviously is leaving PSG, so PSG is also not in the equation, right? And the top Premier League teams have their managers as we speak. The only other big club is Bayern Munich. After Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich they are doing really, really fine. They obviously are not changing coaches anytime soon because company is doing the pretty good job there.
All this English just to
So what that shows you is
just
that
to push
I'm
yourself.
telling you that I'm telling you that
Enrique to Man is not happening.
Again, if Enrique is really, really leaving PSG, that's the caveat. If
just
he's
say
really
with your
leaving
chest
PSG,
that. Say with your chest. Say it to the camera.
Manchester,
say,
he doesn't even have
Luis
options.
Enrique, if you are
what are the options? What are the options?
No, I want you to say this to the camera. Luis Enrique, if you are looking for a challenge, if you think you are what you are, you think you can build, you think you can come and win the Champions League, PSG was easy because it's PSG. Come to Manchester United. I want you to say that to the camera.
Luis Enrique, if you are watching, last time out, I said Ineos, if you are watching Sacking of Amorim.
That's what I want you to say to the camera.
The following morning.
I want you to say
so
to the
Luis
camera.
Enrique, if you are watching, please come to Manchester United. Come and save us. Please, I beg you in the name of God. Please, I'm begging.
That's not going to happen. I think at best you get the Oliver Glasner.
Yeah, actually, I don't mind
Iraoni.
Oliver Glasner. I genuinely don't mind. In fact, I think Oliver Glasner is a manager that I've kind of been looking at. He said it that he's not wedded to a system, that he has played 3-4-3 in the past, he has played 4-4-2. I think he said 4-4-2 is actually his preferred formation, but the bottom line is that he has said that he's a manager that adapts, and we've seen it. Remember when he told Pep that if you use the same system the next time we face, I'm going to beat you. And that's exactly what happened in the FA Cup. So I think Oliver Glasner is a very, very good manager. I'm not really sold on Thomas Tuchel, to be honest. I don't think he's a league manager. He's more, in my opinion, Thomas Tuchel is more of a cup manager. Like, he's better in cup competitions than... It's kind of like how Antonio Conte is also great in league competitions, but he sucks in cup competitions. So I don't think Tuchel is an option for me. I don't want Ancelotti. I just don't want. He's old. He's been everywhere. Like, let's get someone else.
You're leaving someone else.
The other, who is that?
Roy Keane. you see, I saw a tweet. And it was about the podcast. It was about the podcast that was being hosted by former Manchester United players, legends, Paul Scholes, Nicky Butt. And this guy said...
Well, his name is Butt. He's asking.
This guy said they actually loved Roy Keane as a manager and they were pushing him to take the Manchester United job. Now, somebody quoted that tweet and said, how Alex Ferguson managed to manage a bunch of idiots, so, not my words, his words, remains to be unseen how he did it. Because tell me why they are saying that Roy Keane should take the Manchester United job. And also that delusional Rio Ferdinand, sorry for calling him out, but that's what I think he is, said something about Arteta silently wanting the Manchester United job. I cannot understand it with your legends. And I think they are a major part of the problem of Manchester United as a club. You don't think so?
I agree. I think there's a lot of noise that comes from that section. I think it's too much. A lot of times I feel like it's unnecessary.
Mm.
Like, I understand that they are legends, they care about the club, but they have an opinion on everything. They want to criticize everything. They want to talk all the time. It's just, it creates a toxic atmosphere. I mean, look, let's be honest. They are not the reason for toxicity in the club. The club is just toxic. Everybody is toxic. Fans, manager, me,
It's nice that you are
legends,
admitting
everybody.
that,
All of us are toxic
because
in
Arsenal
that club.
fans
I agree.
are the ones that
I
are being noted and being notorious for being
Yeah, but
toxic.
like those guys, I think they do a little too much. Like, sometimes just relax. Especially Roy Keane. Roy Keane is always shouting. He's always trying to show that, when he was
Gary
during
Neville,
his own time. Like,
Gary Neville, nah, man, I can never agree with
like
that guy.
Gary Neville, for somebody that failed as badly as he did at Valencia, he has too much to say. I think I showed you that clip where he was suggesting that Ten Hag should use, was it Ten Hag? I think it was Ten Hag, that Ten Hag should use 3-4-3.
4-3, yeah.
Same
And
guy has been
being
crucifying Amorim
hypocritical.
about 3-4-3. Obviously, I agree with him on that. But the point is that he was tampering the 3-4-3 in the first place.
Yeah.
So even Gary Neville is an hypocrite. I think those guys just do too much.
I
But as
agree.
much as I don't
That's
like
something
them,
we would agree
I
on.
hate Karaga even more. Just putting that out there.
Oh, of course. Everyone is Carragher.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Everyone is Carragher. So this Manchester United, I mean, you said you want to lose Enrique. It's okay to dream. I
Yeah,
also
Luis
dream.
Enrique is my...
I mean,
It's going to happen.
it's okay to dream. We'll see how that pans out, right? So I want us to touch on a couple of other things before we wrap this up. I want us to talk about Chelsea's new manager.
Before we do that,
Liam
I just
Reservoir.
want to address one more thing.
Okay.
And I'm going to put the question to you. So Amorim has been sacked. We are about to get an interim. Most likely Ole, right? That's like the name that is
coming up.
Yeah. Where do you think? So I'm asking you two questions in one.
Yeah.
The first question is, where do you realistically think Manchester United will finish? And two, what do you think should be the expectation of United fans for this season? Is this season a write-off? Are we trying to salvage something? Like, yeah.
So, realistically, I think right now it will be difficult for me to really be firm or be, pinpoint, okay, this is where you guys are going to finish. And the reason is because if it was Amorim that was still coaching you guys, I would have said, okay, certainly here. But now there's a lot of uncertainty, right?
True.
But I think that even with the uncertainty, I think that you guys are going to finish between, I don't think you finish higher than 6th. I think you finish between 6th and 8th. If Amorim was still there, I would have said certainly 6-7. That was where I was. And honestly, that's a massive improvement from where you guys were last season. Now, in terms of what your expectations are, see, this season, I'm not expecting Manchester United to win any silverware. This season was
we don't have anything we are playing for.
Oh, no, the FA Cup is still coming up now. So this season was, to me, it's supposed to be a season where you start to discover yourself. You start to lay those, foundational blocks, right? Last season, it was an anomaly. Manchester United does not finish 15th. That happened. That is never going to happen again. This season was supposed to be the season where, you lay it all bare and then you start to build brick by brick. Okay, this is the vision. But that has been reset now. I don't know what is going to happen, but I'm hoping that the damage is not so bad. Yes.
You are hoping?
I mean, I'm trying to be objective. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't give a shit. I literally don't care. I want this of you. I wake up every morning and I see. I'm not doing all of this for the camera. I wake up every morning and I pray for the continued downfall of my enemies. Manchester United being very high on that list. Others, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. I don't even hate Tottenham like that. Honestly, I don't care about them. So these are the people that every day I'm crossing them out early in the morning. Fresh crosses. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
See, we always debate this thing. But like I said, you're a Manchester United fan now. We would have another episode at the end of the season. I will evaluate. Before the end of the season, when your interim comes and then things start to
I don't
maybe
think this
get
isn't
better
the
or get
write-off, and I
worse.
don't think they should treat it as a write-off.
I didn't say this season was the
No,
write-off.
I know. I'm just like I know. I'm just saying like telling them like
So,
don't treat it as a write-off. It's not a write-off.
anyways, let's move on to Chelsea, and we'll just do it like briefly because I mean, what's there to say? They're not really
Liam
an
Reservoir.
important, not an important club at the moment. So they hired this guy, and I'm looking at his his CV. At Derby, he was an interim manager in 2022, 12 games, 58% win percentage. At All City, he was a manager, 78 games from 2022 to 2024, 35% win percentage. Strasbourg, 2024 till last month, 63 games, 49% win percentage. Do you think that is enough to earn him a 6.5-year deal at Chelsea?
No, but I don't think he earned the deal based on his resume. I think Chelsea they have a fetish for ridiculously long contracts. And I thought it was
We
going to
know what
stop
they're
at the
trying to do with
players.
that.
But
Yeah.
okay, like that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make sense to me, but okay, we understand the logic for players. Why is a coach signed for 6.5 years?
I'll
Because
never
what
understand
you
it
have
as
to
well.
understand is that they are signing him in January. So that
Mhm.
half is between now and June. So that means it would have been 7 years if
Yeah, signed in the summer.
he signed in the summer. And so this is the thing. Let's say everything goes south, which I think it will. And you have to sack him in the second year. That's 4.5 years of payment for free.
I saw a tweet where I might not get the exact figure right, but they said Chelsea in the last 3-4 years have signed managers on contracts totaling 18.5 years, and those managers have only used 4.5 years.
Yeah, that tracks. It
Doesn't
makes
make any. It
sense.
doesn't make any sense. I think a lot of Chelsea fans will agree with us. I don't think they're happy with how the club is being run. The club is owned by
It
Americans,
shouldn't be.
I think it's owned by Americans. Is Todd
Todd
Boehly an
Boehly, yeah.
American?
Todd Boehly, yeah, is American.
These guys are just ruthless and brutal. They are operating it as a business, just like you said in the last pod. If you are operating a football club primarily as a business, it is bound to fail. It is bound to fail. I can see it failing. Liam
You
Reservoir.
know one thing that I'm just
There's a lot of L's in
you
the
know one thing
reservoir.
that I'm just
A
realizing.
lot of losses and tears for Chelsea fans in his reservoir. Liam Reservoir.
You know one thing I'm just realizing.
What?
When Liam Rosenoir was
Why are you calling him Rosenoir?
okay,
Reservoir.
when Liam Reservoir was at Derby, before he became the first team coach, he was the assistant manager under guess who?
At Debbie?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Wayne Rooney.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It was an assistant coach under a bomb. That is crazy. So you can imagine where, and when we're talking about Maresca was an assistant coach to Pep, Arteta assistant coach to Pep, these top coaches that they were assistant coaches to, some top guys. Even your Ten Hag was an assistant coach to Pep at some point, right?
That was a bastard. You know, for
But I'm just saying, like, and then they are going for, come on. I think, see, there's really nothing to say there. We have overflogged this Chelsea topic, even in the last pod. This guy, I wish him nothing but misfortune. Liam Reservoir, I wish you nothing but absolute misfortune. I do not like Chelsea for anything. Yes, this is sports, channel, podcast, we always try to be objective,
that
right?
guy,
But
it looks
banter,
like
when the banter starts rolling in.
it looks like
Let's talk about what he said, though.
man
He said,
man age
man,
aging men.
so
So
he has come
stupid.
to manage, and you manage, when you manage is man and age, you are aging men.
What sense does that sentence make? Like, I hate
can
it
never
when people just want
understand
to
it.
be deep for no reason. What's that?
He said another one. I said, football management is 90% managing the players or something like that, and then 10% tactics. 10% tactics in the Premier League.
Yeah.
10% tactics in the Premier League. You should not worry now. Just come on, Brighton. By the time they shift it from left to right, All those shouts in the dressing room.
I mean,
Oh,
you know what thing I think?
You think that's what is going to
I
work?
think that is already set. You know how the exit told us before season started that is a 9.5, not a 9. So don't be expecting goals. That's similar to what he's doing. Like, me, I don't have tactics.
I saw it.
Don't go and be expecting Kundo Vini from me. I don't have tactics. So
I saw it too.
10% tactics is crazy.
The guy said, there's no need to hate on this guy because don't waste your hits on him. He's not going to succeed. He's not going to succeed. And I think I agree.
Yeah, I swear, that guy looks like a character from a sci-fi movie where he's like that tech geek. I swear that's what it looks like.
Well, his first game is this weekend. We'll see. I'll be this
tomorrow now.
Tomorrow. Yeah, this game we'll see. You know, that's when we start to feel the heat, right? So like I said, there's really nothing to say. Let's move on to I think the last and final topic that I wanted us to touch on, which is Mancity and how they are just spending money. Now, two things. First of all, they just bought Anton Semenyo. I know you have something that you want to say. You have an agenda, but that's Semenyo. You said he could have gone to Mancity a while ago, but they
wanted him to play against Arsenal.
So he could. Nothing for him. I don't even think he made an assist. He didn't do anything in that game. But they just signed this guy for £65 million. Now, I'm hearing that Josko Vardio has a fracture. I think it fractured his
I think
he's
right going leg. To be out for a while.
And then Ruben Diaz is out for a couple of weeks. And then because of that, all of a sudden, Man City, they want to buy Maguire. They want to buy some other defenders. Man City, whenever they have a little problem, they throw money at it. Last winter transfer window, they did the same thing. They bought Kuzanov, they bought Victor Reyes, they bought Mamouche.
That was such a weird transfer window. I don't understand Nico
Gonzalez. They bought a lot of people that right now they're average, right? And they're about to do the same thing again. I'm an Arsenal fan. And I know people who might say, okay, because I'm an Arsenal fan, it's okay for me to say this, but we've also had major defensive injury crisis this season. We went to Chelsea without our two starting centre-backs. We did not cry foul. We went there, we still got the results. Gabriel has just got back. Saliba has been injured. You know, Timber has been in and out. Ben White has barely played. Calafuri is out again, right? It's been, you know, Nkapi, even when we bought in the first 2 months or so, he was injured. He couldn't play. We are not throwing money at this thing. But Man City, why can't you play Ake? Why can't you play John Stones? Why can't you rely on these guys?
I think
because these guys actually cost a lot of money too.
On that, so this is what I have to say. One, I think John Stones is injured currently.
He's not. He is.
Are you sure he's fit?
I think he's fit. I think he's fit. I think himself and Ake. I saw a tweet that said those are their two available CVs at the moment.
Okay. What about Ruben Diaz? Well, he
just got injured. He's out for 6 weeks.
Okay. I think so. Diaz and Guardiola got injured.
Yeah, they just got injured at the same time. Their only major injury crisis.
To be fair, if you are contending for the title, I don't think you should have two available centre backs.
Hard at some point. There was a game where we played Nogard at centre back. We played Declan at right back.
But okay, so this to your point about throwing money at the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it, but I don't have issues with it. And I don't have issues with it. And the reason why I'm saying I don't have issues with it is because when you have used a formula for so long and it has worked, it makes sense that you stick to the formula. So, like, think about the fact that what do people nickname Pep? Checkbook manager. Yeah. Because Pep is a great manager, but he needs to get his signings, right? So, I think that it makes sense that they've spent money for Pep and he has delivered for them. So, if I'm the owner of Manchester City and Pep tells me that we have this player injured, I need a defender, I would oblige.
I get your
just point. On the basis of the fact that he has been successful with it. Now, if he has been mediocre, don't even come near me.
I get it, but I have this counter argument in the sense that Manchester City, the reason why they have the charges, the 115 charges against them, there's always going to be that comma on it. Now they might they might what's the word now? Might get away with it because
I
obviously
think they
when you
will.
have money, you have access to brilliant lawyers, right? You can defend your case, you can do whatever they can, tweak the books and do whatever they want, and they will get away with it. But the fact that they have those charges in the first place says a lot. Now, there's something about having money that you didn't work for. If I gave you $2 million that you didn't work for, you probably spend it anyhow because you
Ah,
didn't work for it.
if you check my bank account right now, you know that I'll take care of that money properly.
But you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Some ideas will come to your head. Oh, I can do this. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
These guys spent 100 million on Jack Grealish, and Jack Grealish is on loan at Everton. They have thrown a lot of money around on players that have clearly not worked out. See Calvin Phillips.
Yeah. Grealish,
Do you understand? They
Calvin
have
Phillips.
spent
Yeah.
money ridiculously. Now, I saw a tweet about a guy that analyzed the actual cost of transfers, and I agree. Because if you look at it, Alan, for example, they say it costs like 50 something or 60 something million, but in fact, the actual fee, because when you buy a player, aside from the transfer fee, you're also taking account the wages per year. Now you sum that up and then you divide it by the length, the transfer fee and the total number of wages across the contracts. And the contract here, you add them up and then you divide it by the number of years that is contracted for. What that figure amounts to is ridiculous for someone like Alan. Alan is on very high wages. Now, not just Alan, a lot of their players are on high wages. And the cost of that squad is a lot. I was making an argument in a WhatsApp group, in a football WhatsApp group earlier today, where I was saying, people were saying, oh, but they've spent so much money. Just like you said now, it is justified because they've won titles. And I'm telling you that the amount of money that Mancity are actually spending, they should be winning every single competition that they play in. It's because of the crazy amount of spending that they do. Them alone. You cannot compare that to what Arsenal do or Liverpool do or Chelsea. I mean, let's leave Chelsea out of it. Chelsea, what they are doing is just operating, buying and selling like a shop in Anambra, Onitsha, like I said. Do you understand? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, these are astronomical amounts of money, right? So, in my opinion, yes, they've won in the Premier League, this, but it's just flat right bullying. That's just what it is. Any small challenge like this, you just start throwing money at it. Where's Victorious? Kuzanov barely plays.
Mm-hmm.
Mamouche, even before he went to AFCON,
He wasn't playing that
there was really
much. He
nothing
was
there.
injured though, but I don't think he was a starter
But
in
there was
Manchester City.
nothing there.
Yeah.
All these then Doku, Savinho, they are buying players. Nico Gonzalez, Kovacic,
But so this is the
Calvin Phillips. I can go on
again,
and
I
on and
get that
on and
perspective,
on.
but I can't fault them for it. Like it's just what it is. Like
But
they
it
have
is.
money and
That's
they throw money
interesting.
at problems. And I get what you're saying, but it's like, what are we going to do?
What we can do? They just added
My point,
Semenyo.
like, they are just going to keep spending money.
They
There's a
just added Semenyo
conversation
to the
that
mix.
I think we should have, not today, but I think we should have at some point. So, the way FFP is, right? There's like there's an equivalent, so to speak, in the NBA. I don't want to go into the details of that, but the bottom line is that is a way to regulate how much you can spend. And if you are going to spend a certain amount, you get a very heavy penalty for it. Now you can decide to keep spending and pay the penalty, but it's like it's not an approach that will be sustainable for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have no choice but to just avoid that penalty. So we can get into more detail about that conversation and how we help big teams versus mid-table teams and small teams. So that's the conversation for a different day. But yeah, but I really don't think that there's much that we can do.
Anyways, like I said,
City, like it is
it's
what it is.
City
They have
being
the money, they're
City.
spending it.
You just bought Semenyo. They might get Maguire. Just keep bringing them, bringing those players in.
Do
At
you
the
think
end of,
Semenyo makes a difference for them?
I think it makes a difference. It's better than
Savio
Savio,
and
and
Doku.
obviously better than Doku in
But
terms
is
of
it going to be
output.
able to fit into Pep's system?
That's the only question mark. And we know Pep is really good at managing players and getting them to perform. So I think
There's
if
a lot of players who did not get to perform.
but yeah, he's not always going to have. He's not going to have 100% success rate now, but his success rate is high.
Yeah,
Pep
I agree.
made someone like Sterling score so many goals that it was common. We all know, everyone knows Sterling is a bomb. So yeah, like I said, the title race is still on. They just bought Semenyo. They'll probably get Gui, you know, probably finish the season with like a 30-man squad, even though Pep vehemently said at the beginning of the season that he wants just a very thin squad, 2023 or something like that. That was very hypocritical of him.
But
But
signing Maguire and
that's
Semenyo in January.
no, the Maguire transfer is not set in stone yet, but that could happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Mancity, they attract, they attract players. Anyways, I think today's segment was good. I probably got the nerves a little bit. No. I'm an Arsenal fan, a Manchester United fan. I'm not going to sit here and agree to everything you say. Come on,
Is
grow
that
some,
Amorim defense,
grow,
like defending
grow
someone
some
that should
skin,
have been
bro. Grow a
arrested,
thick skin, bro.
is crazy work.
It's crazy.
It's
Anyways,
crazy work.
thank you guys for
God.
making it this far to another episode of Conversation with Ikezi and Soxin, and football conversations with Ikezi and Soxin. And if you guys enjoyed, I'm sure you certainly enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, comment,
Retweet.
send it to your father, your mother, your uncle, your sister, put it on your status.
Use it as background noise.
We are feeling the love.
Sleep on it, wake up on it.
We are feeling the love so much, we're getting more and more subscribers on YouTube, and we're getting more following across social media platforms. It's been so overwhelming, and it's been so positive the last couple of days. Please let that continue.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time. So this is the Kezi saying peace out.
Peace out, guys, from Foxing Jr.